Milktastic. Back at you with another episode. We splashing in the fishbowl. Fresh out the shower. It feels so good. Don't mind my teeth in the thumbnail. I gotta go get them clean. But lot going on. Lot going on. We just gonna pray and get to it. Dear Lord, Father up in heaven, I ask you to forgive me of my sins. I ask you to watch over my family, my friends, and even my enemies. I ask you to protect me while I'm on this road, keep me safe, keep me healthy, and give me understanding and wisdom and knowledge of your word as I read it and proceed to read it. Let the person that hear it gain some insight or knowledge or be encouraged to study your word to themselves. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, we ain't getting into none of this stuff today, all right? I'm strictly gonna just give y'all some of this word. We're not getting into all that. Not today, not right now, maybe later. Abimelech conspiracy. Abimelech conspiracy. We is in Judges chapter 9. This nigga name is A-B-I. Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem to his mother's relative, and spoke to them and to the whole clan of the household of his mother's father, saying, "Speak now in the hearing of all the leaders of Shechem. Which is better for you, that 70 men, all the sons of Jerubbaal, rule over you, or that one man rule over you? Also remember that I am your bone and your flesh." And his mother's relatives spoke all these words on his behalf in the hearing of all the leaders of Shechem. And they were inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, "He is our relative." They gave him 70 pieces of silver from the house of Bereth, with which Abimelech hired worthless and reckless fellows, and they followed him. Then he went to his father's house at Ophrah, and he killed his brothers, the sons of Jerubbaal, 70 men on one stone. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. All the men of Shechem and all Beth Millo assembled together, and they went and made Abimelech king by the oak of the pillar which was in Shechem. Now when they told Jotham, he went and stood on top of the Mount Jezreel and lifted his voice and called out. Thus he said to them, "Listen to me, O men of Shechem, that God may listen to you." Once the trees went forth to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive tree, "Reign over us." But the olive tree said to them, "Shall I leave my fatness with which God and men are honored and go to wave over these trees?" Then the tree said to the fig tree, "You come, reign over us." But the fig tree said to them, "Shall I leave my sweetness and my good fruit and go to wave over the trees?" Then the tree said to the vine, "You come and rule over us." But the vine said to them, "Shall I leave my new vine which cheers God and men and go to wave over these trees?" Finally, all the trees said to the bramble, "You come reign over us." The bramble said to the trees, "If in truth you are anointing me as king over you, come and take refuge in my shade. But if not, may fire come out from the bramble and consume the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if you have dealt in truth and integrity in making Abimelech king, and if you have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have dealt with him as he deserved, for my father fought for you and risked his life and delivered you from the hands of the Midian. But you have risen against my father's house today and have killed his son, 70 men on one stone, and have made Abimelech the king, the son of his maidservant, king over the men of Shechem, because he is your relative. If then you have dealt in truth and integrity with Jerubbaal and his house, this day rejoice in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech and consume the men of Shemelech and Beth Millo, and let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from Beth Millo and consume Abimelech. Then Jotham escaped and fled and went to Beer and remained there because of Amalek his brother. Shechem and Amalek's fall. Now Amalek ruled over Israel 3 years. Then God sent an evil spirit between Amalek and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Amalek. So the violence done to the 70 sons on Jerubbaal might come, and their blood might be laid on Amalek, their brother who killed them, and on the men of Shechem who strengthened his hand to kill his brothers. The men of Shechem set men in ambush against him on the tops of the mountains, and they robbed all who might pass by them along the road. And it was told to Amalek. Now Gal, the son of Ebed, came with his relatives and crossed over to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their trust in him. They went out into the field and gathered the grapes of the vineyard and trod them, and held a festival. And they went into the house of their God and ate and drank and cursed Amalek. Then Gal, the son of Ebed, said, Who is Amalek? Who is the son? Who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is he not the son of Jerubbaal, and is Zebul not his lieutenant? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. But why should we serve him? Would therefore that the people were under my authority, then I will remove Amalek. And he said to Amalek, Increase your army and come out. When Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gal, the sons of Ebed, his anger burned. He sent messengers to Amalek, deceitfully saying, Behold, Gal, the son of Eden, and his relatives have come to Shechem, and behold, they are stirring up the city against you. Now therefore arise by night, you and the people who are with you, and lie in wait in the field. In the morning, as soon as the sun is up, you shall rise early and rush upon the city. And behold, when he and the people who are with him come out against you, you shall do to them whatever you can. So Amalek and all the people who were with him arose by night and lay in wait against Shechem in 4 companies. Now Gal, the son of Ebed, went out and stood in the entrance of the city gate. And Amalek and the people who were with him arose from the ambush. When Gal saw the people, he said to Zebul, Look, people are coming down from the top of the mountains. But Zebul said to him, You are seeing the shadow of the mountains, as if they were men. Gal spoke again and said, Behold, people are coming down from the highest part of the land, and one company comes by the way of the diviner's oak. Then Zebul said to him, Where is your boasting now, with which you said, Who is Amalek, that we should serve him? Is this not the people whom you despise? Go out now and fight with them. So Gal went out before the leaders of Shechem and fought with Amalek. Amalek chased him, and he fled before him, and many fell wounded up to the entrance of the gate. Then Amalek remained at Armon. But Zebul drove out Gal and his relatives, so that they could not remain in Shechem. Now it came about the next day that the people who went out to the field, and it was told to Amalek. So he took his people and divided them into 3 companies and lay in the wait in the field. When he looked and saw the people coming out from the city, he arose against them and slew them. Then Amalek and the company who was with him dashed forward and stood in the entrance of the city gate. The other 2 companies then dashed against all who were in the field and slew them. Amalek fought against the city all that day, and he captured the city and killed the people who were in it. Then he razed the city and sold it with salt. When all the leaders of the tower of Shechem heard of it, they entered the inner chamber of the temple of El-Barth. It was told Amalek that all the leaders of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. So Amalek went up to Mount Zalon, he and all the people who were with him, and Amalek took an axe in his hand and cut down a branch from the trees and lifted it and laid it on his shoulder. Then he said to the people who were with him, What you have seen me do, hurry and do likewise. All the people cut down each one his branch and followed Amalek, and they put them on the inner chamber and set the inner chamber on fire over those inside, so that all the men of the tower of Shechem also died, about 1,000 men and women. Then Amalek went to the Bez, and he camped against the Bez and captured it. But there was a strong tower in the center of the city, and all the men and women with all the leaders of the city fled there and shut themselves in. And they went up on the roof of the tower. So Amalek came to the tower and fought against it, and approached the entrance of the tower to burn it with fire. But a certain woman threw an upper milestone on Amalek's head, crushing his skull. Then he called quickly to the young man, his armor bearer, and said to him, Draw your sword and kill me, so that it would not be said of me, A woman slew him. So the young man pierced him through, and he died. When the men of Israel saw that Amalek was dead, each departed to his home. Thus God repaid the wickedness of Amalek, which he had done to his father in killing his 70 brothers. Also God returned all the wickedness of the men of Shechem on their head, and the curse of Jonathan, the son of Jerubbaal, came upon them. And that was chapter 9. Let's do some financial IQ increasing. All right. We on that. Budget surplus of an individual. Barron states an individual with a surplus may choose to pay down debt or increase spending or investments. Notice Barnes offer 3 choices to individuals. These are paying down debt, spending more money, or investing. As most of us know, one of the reasons so many people have trouble financially is because they increase spending and debt and reduce investments. 2 choices. When it comes to financial IQ 3, budgeting your money, there are only 2 choices: deficit or surplus. Many people choose a budget deficit. If you want to be rich, choose a budget surplus and create one by increasing income, not reducing expenses. A budget deficit. I have a friend in Atlanta who makes a lot of money. He has to make a lot of money. If he stopped making a lot of money, his problems will eat him alive. He has chosen to create a budget deficit. Every time Dan makes more money, he either buys a bigger house, a newer car, or takes an expensive vacation with his kid. He has another bad habit. Every 10 years or so, he marries a younger woman and has a new child. Dan grows older, but his wives are always about the same age, 25. Dan is an expert at taking a lot of money and making his problems worse through deficits. A budget surplus. The second financial choice is to plan for a budget surplus. After making money, financial IQ number 1, protecting your money, financial IQ number 2, learning how to budget for a surplus is essential for achieving financial integrity. The following are a number of lessons I have learned from my rich dad and other wealthy people about budgeting for a budget surplus. Budget tip number 1, a budget surplus is an expense. This is one of the best financial lessons my rich dad passed on to his son and me. Pointing to the financial statement, he said you have to make a surplus an expense. In order to create a budget surplus, his financial statements look like this. It got income, nothing, and in the expenses, it says saving, tithing, and investing. So you can see it yourself. Let me cut the light on. I'm gonna let some light on here. So y'all can see that yourself. Screenshot it. So we got to make surplus an expense, like it's a bill, but it's really just helping us to get in the surplus. Explaining further, he said the reason so many governments, businesses, and individuals fail to create a budget surplus is because they think a budget surplus looks like this. You got the saving, tithing, and investing into assets instead of under the expense column on the second diagram. So now you see what investing, tithing, and savings are at. It's in the asset column, right? But over here, it's in the expense column. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I wrote about the importance of paying yourself first. Budget number 1 is an example of paying yourself first. Budget number 2 is an example of paying yourself last. Most people know they should save, tithe, and invest. The problem is after paying their expenses, most people don't have any money left to do so. The reason is because they consider saving, tithing, and investing as the last priority. Let me illustrate what I am saying again. Look at the financial statement. You can tell a person's priority. First priority, third priority, fourth priority, second priority. First priority, get a high-paying job. Second priority, make your mortgage and car payments. Third priority, pay bills. Fourth priority, save, tithe, and invest. In other words, paying themselves first is their last priority. And that's what we have to change, I would say. That is one of the keys to changing things. You have to start paying yourself first. No matter how much you get paid, put up 10% and don't touch it. It's hard to do, but we can do it. Shout out to all y'all people out there that be checking in, the 4 of y'all that always watch my video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, let me know where you're from. All that good stuff. Then, in other words, y'all have a blessed day. Y'all have a happy day. Love who you love, because you never know when it's going to be the end. You could die today, I could die today. We can all die. And we all going to die one day. So enjoy life, enjoy the journey, and try not to stress too much, right? Bless. Y'all be blessed. Get some of this good winter green for these chapped lips. Should have did it first, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, man. Let's get to the money. We got the statue on the back. We about there and run it up. Millionaire Mission. Make sure you DM me to order something ASAP.